Have you ever stopped to think about what your next car might know about you? Not just your destination, not just your driving habits, I mean everything. Your face, your voice, the people who ride with you, the places you visit, even the conversations happening inside the vehicle. It sounds like the kind of warning you'd expect from a futuristic thriller, but the technology being developed today is moving much closer to that reality than most people realize. And by the end of this video, you'll understand why some legal experts are raising serious concerns about what happens when your car becomes one of the most powerful surveillance devices you've ever owned, and what you can do right now to protect yourself. Picture this for a moment. You're heading to work on a normal morning. Traffic is moving slowly, you're listening to your favorite podcast, and you're thinking about the day ahead. Then your audio suddenly cuts out. A voice comes through the speakers. It's not your navigation system. It's not a phone call. It's law enforcement. You're instructed to pull over immediately. Confused, you glance in your mirrors and notice flashing lights approaching behind you. Within minutes, you're standing on the side of the road being questioned. Later, you discover that your vehicle had identified you through its onboard monitoring systems, compared your information against outside databases, transmitted your location, and alerted authorities before you ever knew what was happening. For many people, that sounds impossible. But the reason we're having this conversation today is because vehicle manufacturers are increasingly exploring technologies that collect enormous amounts of information about the people inside their vehicles. Some recently disclosed patent filings have revealed systems capable of gathering biometric information, identifying occupants, and transmitting data to external servers for analysis. The important thing to understand is that we're not talking about a single camera or one isolated sensor. We're talking about entire networks of technology working together. Cameras can observe occupants, microphones can capture audio, biometric scanners can verify identities. Additional sensors may track movement, behavior, and environmental conditions both inside and outside the vehicle. The result is a system capable of building highly detailed profiles about the people who use the vehicle. Supporters argue that these systems are being developed for legitimate reasons. One of the biggest justifications involves impaired driving prevention. Federal initiatives have encouraged the development of advanced technologies designed to reduce accidents caused by intoxicated driving. On paper, that sounds like a worthwhile goal. Nobody wants dangerous drivers on the road. But here's where things become more complicated. Once a vehicle is equipped with technology capable of identifying people, monitoring behavior, collecting biometric information, and communicating with outside servers, those capabilities can potentially be used for far more than detecting impairment. Manufacturers often present these features through the lens of convenience and security. Your fingerprint starts the vehicle. Facial recognition unlocks the doors. Driver profiles automatically adjust seat positions and music preferences. Parents can monitor young drivers. Businesses can track company vehicles. Each feature sounds helpful when viewed individually. The challenge is that every convenience feature depends on data collection. And throughout the history of modern technology, we've seen the same pattern repeat itself. Consumers are offered convenience. In exchange, companies receive information. The more information collected, the more valuable that information becomes. Some of the language appearing in patent documents has raised eyebrows among privacy advocates because it describes systems capable of recognizing a wide range of identifying characteristics. Beyond faces and fingerprints, certain concepts discussed include identifying features such as scars, tattoos, physical attributes, clothing characteristics, and other observable details. Think about what that means for a moment. Imagine a database capable of searching for individuals not just by name but by appearance, height, hair color, clothing style, visible markings, location, time. Suddenly, finding a particular person becomes much easier when enough information is being gathered and categorized. What's even more concerning to critics is that the collection isn't necessarily limited to drivers. Passengers may also be observed. Depending on how certain systems are implemented, people outside the vehicle could potentially be captured by external sensors as well. This represents a significant shift in how many people think about personal transportation. For decades, cars were largely mechanical machines. They got you from one place to another. Modern vehicles increasingly function as rolling computers, and computers collect data. A lot of data. The next question naturally becomes, why would companies want all of this information? One answer is simple economics. Data has become one of the most valuable resources in the modern world. Businesses use it to improve products, develop services, create targeted advertising, and generate revenue streams that often extend far beyond the original product purchase. Those comparisons could potentially be used to identify missing persons, verify identities, detect inconsistencies, or flag other security-related events. Supporters argue that these capabilities could help locate vulnerable individuals, solve crimes, and improve public safety. Critics respond that the same systems create opportunities for mistakes, misidentifications, and excessive surveillance. We've already seen examples where automated identification systems have allegedly contributed to wrongful arrests and serious legal problems. When a computer system reaches the wrong conclusion, real people can face real consequences. When an officer hears a witness make a claim, there's often skepticism. When a computer generates an alert, many people assume the computer must be correct. No identification system is perfect. No algorithm is perfect. Yet the consequences of an incorrect match can be devastating. Another aspect that deserves attention is the possibility of communication between outside authorities and the vehicle itself. Some proposed systems contemplate the ability to deliver messages directly through vehicle interfaces. In theory, instructions or alerts could be transmitted to occupants through speakers, displays, or other connected systems. Again, supporters see efficiency. Critics see the possibility of unprecedented government interaction with privately owned vehicles. Many people assume constitutional protections automatically prevent this kind of surveillance. Unfortunately, the legal reality is far more complicated. One of the most controversial concepts in privacy law is something known as the third-party doctrine. The basic idea is that when you voluntarily provide information to a third party, your expectation of privacy in that information may be reduced. Historically, courts have applied this reasoning in cases involving banks, telephone companies, and other service providers. In practical terms, that means information stored by private companies may sometimes be obtained by the government under legal standards different from those that apply when authorities directly search your home. If your vehicle continuously collects information and stores it with a company, questions immediately arise regarding who can access that information, under what circumstances, and with what legal protections. To be fair, courts have begun recognizing that modern technology creates privacy concerns that didn't exist decades ago. One of the most important examples came in a Supreme Court decision involving historical cell phone location data. The court acknowledged that long-term digital tracking can reveal extraordinarily detailed information about a person's life, movements, relationships, habits, and routines. But even with those developments, technology continues advancing faster than legislation. By the time courts resolve one privacy question, companies may already be deploying entirely new systems that raise additional concerns. So where does that leave ordinary people? First, it starts with awareness. Many consumers spend hours comparing horsepower, fuel economy, cargo space, and entertainment features before purchasing a vehicle. Very few spend the same amount of time examining privacy policies. Read the privacy disclosures. Determine whether biometric features are optional or mandatory. Find out whether data sharing settings can be adjusted. Ask where information is stored and how long it remains there. Second, disable features you don't actually need. Many people activate every available option without considering the privacy trade-offs involved. Just because a feature exists doesn't mean you have to use it. If data sharing options are configurable, review them carefully. Small decisions can significantly reduce the amount of information being collected. Third, pay attention to legislation. Most people don't follow privacy laws until a problem directly affects them. By then, the infrastructure is often already in place. The reality is that meaningful privacy protections usually require public pressure, legislative action, and ongoing oversight. History suggests otherwise. Again and again, systems introduced for one objective gradually acquire additional uses over time. That's not paranoia, that's a pattern. The lesson here isn't that technology is inherently bad. Modern vehicles offer incredible benefits. They are safer, more efficient, and more capable than ever before. The real question is whether consumers fully understand the bargain they're making. When convenience requires surveillance, what are we actually giving up? When security requires constant monitoring, where should the limits be? And when the machine sitting in your driveway knows more about your daily life than almost any other object you own, who ultimately controls that information? Those questions are becoming increasingly important as vehicles evolve from transportation devices into sophisticated data collection platforms. The future of driving may involve far more than getting from point A to point B. It may involve deciding how much privacy you're willing to surrender along the way. And that's a decision every driver should be thinking about right now, before these technologies become so common that opting out is no longer an option.